Hello, and thank you for joining me. I am Krista Snow, coming to you from El Paso, Texas, right here on the border. 2 years ago, I decided to create a podcast of mini-series focused on outliers and the unique journeys we walk, because truly, we need each other. I built a collective to dive into a variety of topics from healing and relationships to business advice and neurodivergence. My commitment to you is to bring you integrity and high quality, because I believe in people and their potential. So without further ado, welcome to this space where you can join the collective as we listen, learn the flip side, and ultimately level up our lives together. I'll be your host, and you're listening to the Level Up Podcast. Welcome back to the Level Up Podcast. In the last episode, Leah and I talked about imposter syndrome and all of the things that entails. And today we want to talk about one of the things that we believe is super important on combating the feelings of imposter syndrome, and that is accepting your own feelings, learning how to manage them, and understanding that you can feel the way that you feel. Anyone has the right to feel exactly how you feel, no matter what that is. So we'd like to talk about that today, and we will start with low high. Low is the stress of the fact that this time frame is inching real close to launch. And as long as I've spent developing the content and the network and the support and the resources and the advocacies for this, I am not ready. I don't feel ready. We don't have, 100 recordings in the queue. We don't even have 20 recordings in the queue, because this is officially one of those things where it is now time and we just have to do it together and we fill in the gaps. So I'm struggling with that as my low, because I'm a little stressed out and I'm like, what if I fail? And at the same time, what's the worst that could happen? So my high is doing this episode as we are right now talking about something that is very important. I think my low of the stress of all of this coming is also beautiful, because the balance of the high of being like, you know what, this is just going to be real. That's what it's going to be. And so it's going to be scary and it's going to be amazing. That's my high. That's how I feel, because I don't have to do this alone. And that's amazing. So, your turn.
Well, what if I fail? It reminded me, there was a poster. I want to say it was at college. It might have been at one of my first jobs, but it was, you say, what if I fail? And I say, darling, what if you fly? It just
I
gave
have
me
seen that, and I love that. Exactly.
I'm picturing that in my head right now.
It reminds me of reach for the sky,
Yep.
because reach for the stars.
Stars.
Because if you don't reach the stars, at least you'll live in the clouds.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm picturing. But yeah, my low is along the same. I literally feel like I am stretched so thin right now, like that skin that forms over the pudding right before you break it with the spoon that first time. And there's just been
like when you fire the creme brulee and then you crack it.
Yes. That is how thin I am stretched right now. And of course, when you are that close to, I don't even want to say a mental break, but really and truly, I'm just going to say a mental break. Whether it be your kids not doing something that you've asked them repeatedly to do, or, that driver that, I'm on an icy bridge today and I made eye contact with him and I put my finger out and I said, you stay there. You stay there. Like, this man could hear me chastising him through the car. Mister, you stay there. Yeah, that's my low. I am just like on the verge of my own personal sanity comfort level right now.
Life is hard sometimes. It goes up and down.
Yeah. Will it maybe reach even just one person and make all of this worth it? Absolutely. So that's my high.
Yeah. it reminds me of something I've been thinking about a lot this week, because I think one of my struggles is planning and overthinking and over-preparing. And so then I hold off because it just needs to be perfect. And
Yep.
the fear of public speaking and talking in front of people is just already very difficult. And so I want to do it as articulately and as amazing as possible and portray this confidence that I want to embody and emulate from all these other people that I see and are my, inspirations and idols and all of that. But I also realize that I have built Level Up for outliers for one reason, and that is to fill the gaps that are missing. And those gaps are the ones that I needed when I searched on YouTube and couldn't find the help. I couldn't find videos on the things that I needed help with and help on. There wasn't that kind of thing. And so maybe it's not about showing up prepared as much as I want to sound confident and articulate and command a presence and have all this gravitas, right? It's not about that, because I have built something where people can feel safe, seen, heard, and loved. And I can only do that if I show up real and authentic. And this right now is real and authentic. I have definitely prepared, as have you. And we have prepared with experience and knowledge for years, showing up authentic and not being ready and feeling inadequate. Maybe that is where we can speak to people the most.
We just showed up. Just
when neither of us wanted to.
Right. And I think if our listeners could see our faces,
the aesthetic right now. Yeah, we ain't putting this on YouTube. We are pulling the audio alone.
They would
there's
know.
A whole hot mess going on right here.
This disheveled chic thing that I've got going on right now.
It's
this
not
is the best that I can bring to the. I'm making it a thing, Krista. Disheveled chic, people. Let's make it trend. Disheveled chic.
This is a great hashtag.
I'm bringing it.
This is a great hashtag.
The hair everywhere,
fantastic. Because
the makeup off,
chic,
disheveled chic.
Showing up in the moment at the time that is needed to do something, and you have the preparation, but it may not be ready right that second to give it, but you're going to do it anyway.
Yep. You show up.
Both of us are showing up.
We're showing
Friday
up.
afternoon,
so
after work.
I'm going to pat myself on the back because it was a hard day. So I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Can you think of the last time that you experienced an emotion? Doesn't even matter what emotion, but an emotion that had you so physically, emotionally, and mentally wrapped around it that you could not even identify what the actual emotion was. Does that resonate with you? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I think just yesterday I was talking to my Aunt Ingrid about a situation that I'm dealing with, and this is a program, a professional development program that I have paid for, and this is a very extremely high quality program that I was going to join in June of 2025, and I am not joining anymore, and they do not want to refund $5,000 of the membership fee for the program that I signed up for, that I'm not going to join or attend and will receive no value from. In fact, I've also been paying payments through a firm on a payment plan already. So I've dropped almost $1,000 towards this. And I'm not even asking them to refund what I've already paid. All I'm asking them to do is to let me out of the rest of the contract.
Right.
And this organization does not want to do it. So I've been dealing with this for a week and a half now. And yesterday I sent my aunt this voice message in tears that, those tears where you're like,
Mm.
you
Yep.
can't even talk because you're gasping for air,
Right.
because this is strapping me in a financial situation right now that I never would have expected. But at the same time, if I didn't read the fine print of non-refundable when I signed up for this membership, it is my fault. And I didn't think I was going to back out and not attend. And the only thing that they will offer is to transfer my fee to another class that I could take later on for an additional fee of $150 if I want to transfer it. They won't let me out. And I've been dealing with this for a week and a half. And the head of finance for this company was supposed to call me 2 different times this week. Monday or Tuesday. Didn't hear. So I emailed on Wednesday. I was promised that I would hear Thursday. Did not hear. And so today I sent my final email. And yesterday and today I was telling my aunt, this is so stressful. I don't even want to talk about it because it's not even that I'm angry. It's just that my heart is broken because this is bad business. This is not fair. And it's hurting the good ones when you treat people like this. And I could be demanding a full refund, but I'm not even doing that. I'm just asking them to let me out of what I haven't paid yet. And I'm willing to drop $1,000 to something I never even saw one benefit from. And I wanted to join this program because I've been recommended by 3 people who have completed it. I've studied it for years and I thought it was a good one. And my world of mental thought about this program and its quality has completely been destroyed over this one thing, because I didn't think I was asking for much and I didn't expect to be treated this way. So yesterday and today too, I have been in a disarray of emotions at that level where I've been healing for 4 years and regulating emotions and accepting emotions, all that stuff. You can say it as much as you want, but when you're in it, it's really hard.
Right. It's
And my heart
desperate
is
and
broken.
it's
So
frustrating.
accepting those emotions as extreme as they are right now, it's really hard for me.
Sure.
Because I live a life where I'm trying to make good decisions and be wise and be level-headed. And I am facing the fact that I made a mistake, apparently. And those emotions have been the last week and a half of my life behind the scenes.
Yeah. You've been browbeaten in a way. Like it's like being kicked when you're already down. And you just, it's one thing to show yourself grace, but it's like you're literally begging. You're begging for mercy. You're just
Yes, that's how I feel right now. I'm begging for mercy.
Yeah. And what a hard place to be in, to be at the mercy of not just an individual whose eyes that you can look into, whose hand you can grab and implore, please. It's a faceless conglomerate organization that has cogs and nuts and bolts, and it plays into that whole anonymity that the internet has brought to us, right? You're just Krista Snow. You're nobody to them, and we've lost our humanity when it comes to dealing with people. Somehow we stop seeing names, we stop seeing faces. Suddenly people are just dollar signs. And that's a really sad place to be when there are small businesses. Like I even know, the center that I work for, the care. Oh my gosh, the care. If the clients only knew, I get to see this doctor care so much for these people that, she's willing to give out of her own pocket. She's willing to go and give a ride. She's, willing to do all these things because she just wants to see them succeed. And then there's an organization like the one that you're referencing, and it's
greed.
Yeah.
And you never expect to just be a number when
No.
people advocate for something, especially multiple people,
Right.
and tell you things that are completely then different from what you
Right.
experience. And because I signed up for this, I think that's one of the things that makes it really hard to accept emotions, whereas accepting them normally on this healing journey, I'm learning to do and have learned to do. But in this situation, it is my fault. I have no one but myself to blame for not reading the fine print and getting myself in this situation because I trusted something that I shouldn't have trusted.
Right.
I didn't read the fine print. I didn't look to see. I didn't consider what would happen if I did decide to back out because I didn't think I was going to back out. And I didn't think I was going to launch a podcast that exact same month and not be able to attend. But this organization is a professional development organization that is created at a high quality level to launch your future and to help you break through things like emotions and trauma and help people effectively. And I never would have expected that kind of behavior from this type of organization. But I have also realized can't blame them at this point. I can't blame them for the fact that they had their standards set. And I did not consider that. I just flew by the seat of my pants. And I can appeal, and I hope that they will reconsider their no refund policy in this case. But at the end of the day, accepting my emotions is really hard for me right now because my emotions are such that I put myself here. And I wouldn't be having these emotions and going through this situation if I had walked through this seeking wise counsel. For example, I told my aunt yesterday, if I'd called my parents and told them the full situation of the scenario and this is what I could do and I could apply for a scholarship, but then I can't do a payment plan and blah, 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 whatever, they would have said, don't do it right now.
Right.
Take time to think about it. And I think it's hard when you know all of that and then you're experiencing emotions because you want to negate them because you know you shouldn't feel this way because you should have prepared more. And that's when it's hard to accept emotions, I think, when you have situations like that just add this nuanced caveat to you feel a certain way and you learn to accept that feeling. I could do that. But what about when you make a mistake?
Well, because it makes you feel juvenile.
Yes.
It puts you in a place where you're like, I'm a grown adult. I know even with my husband and I, there have been times we've been blindsided by just a stupid financial decision that you'd think, who let us make these decisions? Wasn't there an adulty or adult in the room? Like, these are the kinds of things we teach our kids. Hello, red flag.
Be wise.
Right. And it's a shameful feeling. And shame is the most base of all emotions. It is a horrific mortification of the spirit and it's just a horrible feeling. And so to feel that, I'm so sorry, friend. I'm sorry that that's where you have been. And I understand, you're just kind of putting your hands up in the air and just waiting for somebody to come and save you from your own mess. Kind of like your parents would when you're a kid, not have your nose rubbed in it. Not, you're not a dog that peed in the corner. You don't need to have your face shoved in it. And, it's unfair and it's unjust. And yet here we are. And these are the things that we create for ourselves. So with that kind of emotion on board, do you think that there are things that you can do to help you through this period, to help you not to negate those emotions? Because those emotions are incredibly valid, but not to invalidate the emotion, but to help you move to a place where you can positively identify them and replace them, or identify them and what am I trying to say? Substitute something else in their place. We talked about the halt. In your situation, it may not apply, but it could be one of those things where you're just in the store and you are angered. You are angered immediately. You're angered by the fact that somebody hit you in the heels with a shopping cart, or, something that normally they could have apologized and you could have said, oh, it's okay, but you took it a step further.
Yeah, the halt.
Okay, so
this is so good.
Are you hungry? Are you angry? Are you lonely? Are you tired? Because let me tell you, my husband will be the first one to tell you, did anybody feed baby girl today? Because she's acting like a velociraptor.
He's on a rampage.
I am on a rampage. And we had cousins who came out to visit the Capitol with us. We took them to all of the places in DC. But somebody forgot the snack bag at home. We're not going to talk about who it was, me, but that's not important right now. What's important is that I cannot eat most foods, right? Because of my allergies and I'm that nerdy little kid. Well, nobody had packed Leah snacks. There were no Scooby snacks in the car for Leah. Everybody else had snacks.
Yeah,
I had
Leah
a gas
created
station.
her own misery by forgetting the snack.
So we're not going to talk about that.
No, definitely not.
No, we're not talking about that part. That doesn't factor in. Leah got this little teeny tiny gas station protein bar because it was the only one in the whole place that did not have my allergens in it. Right. Okay. So there we are. Well, 4 hours into this trip, I am not hungry. I am not angry. Girl, I am hangry.
Please
I want to knock heads off of statues. I want to toss things at the taco trucks. I am on fire. I cannot be trusted to be an adult in this situation because it's murderous. And so I finally, here I am, 44 years old, and at the Washington Monument, I lay myself down on, I don't even know if you're supposed to sit on it or stand on it. I laid down and I told the cousins, you go do what you need to do, but we need to find me some food now. Kind of like Fiona on Shrek. I need to make camp now.
We are all about the dramatics.
Oh, so, but in that moment, I'm telling you, I may have offered
my family in New York in March, the girls' trip. I was like, I just can't walk anymore. I'm leaving.
I'm done.
No one needs to leave with me, but I'm going back to the hotel. No one needs to feel bad.
No,
but
I'm done.
Wall.
Yes. Halt. I'm all the things. I'm literally all of them. Not even lonely. I'm like, just go away. Leave me by myself. I don't care. But bring food back if you come back. Like bring a euro or something. So yeah, but they literally witnessed a transformation in Leah when we finally found a vegan cafe. I got my little veggie wrap in me, and suddenly I was like, okay, guys.
The life of the party, ultimate hype queen.
Yeah.
And they were like, everybody always wants you to be.
Right. And they were like, oh my gosh, it's like watching a gremlin be fed after midnight. You devolved so quickly into an unrecognizable monster. And, I wasn't even ashamed. I reached a point where I was like, this is why you feed baby girl. I need Leah snackies. That's all I need. And there will be no disrespect. There will be no anger. There will be no, gritting my teeth and making short, snide responses. Just keep me fed. And I'm a pretty easy girl to be around. Give me my water. Give me my food. Except for that. Like,
we all have our things.
And I think if and that's one of those, like, taking stock of your physical. What am I actually feeling?
Like
am
cataloging it?
Yes, like literally top to bottom, really and truly, without getting too new agey with it, really and truly feeling, okay, what is setting me off right now? Why am I ready to just completely self-implode? And
what do you mean when you say not too new agey?
Well, the whole...
Because I think new agey stuff is like that. A lot of that is what helped me heal.
It is.
The problem is with new age, they're looking at them as the God. Divine self. And I'm like, no, I'm not divine.
No.
The power
I don't want to look in.
So
I want to look out.
Stuff is helpful.
It is. It is.
As long as you're looking at it and using it, with the right perspective. So what do you mean when you say not too new agey?
When I say, like, my husband always mocks me because he says I am such a hippie, like patchouli follows me everywhere. And it's so true. But I'm always like, okay, let's take some stock, and he sits down and he does the Om symbol. I'm like, would you stop? Let's unpack this.
Yes.
Really
tell me how that made you feel. We're literally that.
Yes. And he gets so angry. He's like, are you trying to head shrink me right now? Like, I mean, you've met my husband. Can you really picture?
Types.
No,
just kidding.
He's very stoic. Literally, like, I married a Viking. He's just
logical, analytical,
yes.
Black and white. And I'm just like, but what about the gray areas?
No, like, don't talk to him about feelings. Just feed him a steak and potatoes, put him to bed by a decent hour, and then he'll get up and work all day again. Like, just don't ask him what he's feeling.
Balance, though.
Ugh.
Except
it is, and I love him dearly. I love him.
Except for when you butt heads with that type.
So when I ask him, how did that make you feel? And he wants to send me across the room. Here is what I mean by that. And it is, it just completely flew out of my head, like most things do in the post-COVID era.
The new agey thing? Or were you referring to?
I was, but it's, how am I feeling right now? How am I physically feeling? What has gone on this week that could attribute itself to me maybe being on a more heightened level of irritated? Has there been any weird medication regulation lately? Like, really taking stock of the logical components to an illogical feeling. And that's why I think it's important that we're able to identify what is it that we actually feel, because so many things that we think we feel actually boil down to fear.
Yes. And anger is where it usually starts. But when anger is not involved, that throws a whole wrench in the mix. But usually that's the only reason people even think about regulating.
Right.
Or identifying or accepting emotions. But what about when there's not anger there?
Right. And even then, in anger all on its own is a valid emotion.
Oh, absolutely.
You can be angry. Please have your righteous anger. Have your moment. But I beg you, don't stay there. And what I mean by that is, let's unpack that anger. Let's get to the root of what made you angry to begin with. And I think, the safest thing is, first of all, to create some space between you and the thing that angered you so thoroughly. So physically, take a step back, take a breath, pause, literally kind of do a woosah moment. And then once you've done that, once you've removed yourself, then you can really start to notice those physical cues. the thing that goes around now is very mindful, very demure. And there's a
Mhm.
lady that does a skit. She says, I'm not mindful. I'm not demure. I'm a goblin. And that resonates with me because
Yeah, all those
sometimes
resonate with me more than the very demure and mindful, because I'm like, I've never been one of those in the world.
and I am a goblin sometimes, an unfed goblin. Um, and so once we can notice what we're feeling and we can attribute words to those feelings, it really does help to de-escalate that situation, because you're taking the time instead of vocalizing or acting on that emotion right then and there. You are practicing mindfulness. You are using your value system to engage in a healthier response. You're crafting a response instead of a reaction, which is always what we want, right? We don't want to react to our situations. We want to
Exactly.
be a willing participant in our own lives. And in order to do that, we don't react, we respond. And so, it's all of those things, engaging in positive self-talk instead of saying, God, I never finish anything. Or why am I into so many things? Why can't I just have one thing that I'm good at? Twisting that and saying, you're interested in so many things because you have so many talents. Like, how many people can say that?
Yes.
And,
You have to
it's
tell yourself that.
right. So there's all these little, and again, I am not a qualified, degreed mental health professional. I always, if you cannot get past harmful emotions, self-harming emotions, please, please talk to someone. Do not
Mhm.
keep those feelings in. Talk to somebody who is qualified to help you mitigate and identify and change those emotional patterns and regulate those emotions. But for, the general person that's not necessarily struggling with any type of a mental health
Yes.
issue.
Is struggling with, do I accept the way I even feel?
Right. Right. And it's okay. It is okay to recognize that we are human beings. Okay. We are fragile creatures. We have emotions. We have feelings. And sometimes it really doesn't take much to cause those to overlap onto one another to a breaking point. So on the outside, what seemed like something small really was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Truly.
So identifying your emotions, once you realize you do have a place in this world, and heal from imposter syndrome and those things, then if you have a place in this world, that means that your feelings are valid.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean they're true, or the stories you're telling yourself are based on true facts. But
Right.
the feelings that you're having in whatever moment you're having them are completely valid.
Right.
So in your experience, how did you start to help yourself accept the feelings and the fact that it's okay to have feelings by first identifying them? Like, do you have a
So
process that you sort of walk through?
I do. And it's kind of twofold. First of all, I think about the story that I'm telling myself. So human beings, when we lack information, we have a tendency to fill in the blanks with our own narrative. So for example, you have a family member that, you've been trying to reach, you have something important you need to tell them and they're just not getting back to you. So with a lack of information, like maybe that family member went into the hospital themselves and has been unable to, or has been sick, or has been caring for somebody else. In the absence of that vital information, we can tend to create the narrative that, oh, they always do this. They always leave me as the last of their priorities. I try so hard. And so in identifying that emotion, are you sad? Are you resentful? Are you disappointed? Are you afraid?
Do you have an example?
You have an example?
No, do you have an example? Because I'm trying to think of one. Like, I think this would be helpful to actually talk about an example of, like, how do you walk through identifying
So
your exact feeling, because it could be anger, it could be upset, it could be a lot of it, but you have to almost like angel devil on your shoulder status to question yourself to find out. And like, I think that would be helpful to actually, if I could think of an example, if you have one.
So for myself, I am just not, I've never been somebody that likes a lot of drama in my life. I really kind of avoid all of it. Like, I don't want to know unless that person tells me what's going on in their life. I really don't want to know. I don't like confrontation. Don't get me wrong, I will do it if I have to, but I don't go looking for instances where that's a place that I'm going to, interject and place myself. Those are just things I like to avoid. And I have quite a few friends that, love them dearly, but they have that archetype to their personality that somehow, they become entrenched in drama, and they play it, forwards and backwards and sideways in their head. And it comes out in a lot of our conversations. And I find myself kind of coming at it from a much more like pragmatic approach. Mm-hmm. Like, okay, let's leave the emotions aside. Let's look at the facts of this situation. Mm-hmm. And I think that can be helpful in self-talk too. In that moment, you can say, okay, could it be possible that Auntie Daniela has had something happen where she's busy? Could it be possible, just like it's possible in my life? And it goes back to that us versus them. Mm-hmm. No, it's just us. No, them. So if it's not us against them and us creating this narrative where suddenly we're the hated niece or we're the hated nephew, let's break it down logically. What could have happened? And then maybe it changes your stance from resentfulness and vindictiveness and sadness to care, compassion, concern. I hope they're okay. Gosh, if I haven't heard from them, that's not like them. Mm-hmm. I wonder if everything is all right. And so just kind of flipping that narrative a little bit, but it takes you identifying, why am I so angry about this? Is it because I'm impatient? Is it because somebody else has rejected me this week and I'm like feeling rejection upon rejection? Emotions, your feelings are valid.
Yes.
However, they may be untrue.
Yes.
Things can be valid and still be wrong. So it's not wrong to feel these things. It's what we do with them that can become either a positive experience or a negative experience. And so, yes, you're sad. And I'm so sorry that you're sad. You're angry. I'm so sorry that you're angry. How do we identify what's really at the base of these emotions? Is there fear there? Are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid of being rejected? Are you, in your situation, are you afraid that this is going to be your downfall? Mm-hmm. This thing that you brought upon yourself? And friend, it's not. And I want you to give yourself grace, because if this were flipped, you would be the first one to tell me, oh, honey, you need to just give yourself some love and give yourself some grace and be those mom and
That's
dad
true.
arms, that wrap around you and say, oh, Krista, it's going to be okay. Regardless of the outcome, you're going to be carried and it's going to be okay. You'll never do this again. I guarantee it. You'll never
That's for
sign
frickin'
anything
sure.
again.
I always have
without,
to learn everything the hard way because
but,
Krista can't just think clearly with wisdom and discernment. She has to know,
but,
what's the other side of the pot? Or she just doesn't think about it because she's like, oh, well, it's not an issue. So why would I worry about needing to cancel? Because I'm not planning to cancel. Well, what happens if you do try to cancel? Do you know how they're going to treat you? Maybe you should know that before you sign up for such an expensive program, Krista.
so an expensive mistake.
Yeah.
But a lesson learned no less.
It is, because it taught me things that I will think more clearly about.
Right. And
Because
that's,
it's no one's fault necessarily.
No.
They had their bases covered.
Oh, they did.
I thought that I was going to attend, so it wasn't an issue until it became one.
So what can you keep in your tool belt this next week? Because it's already been affecting you for a week and a half now. What can you arm yourself with to really stop those shameful, juvenile feelings at the door and tell them, yes, I see you ringing the doorbell. Hello, I validate you. However, my dance card is full and it's full of these attributes and these emotions. I've given you your time. We're not going to focus on you anymore. I see you there. However, I've chosen to let in. I have a maximum occupancy of 5 in this corner of my kitchen. And right now that is grace. It is mercy. It is compassion. It is humility.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the truth of knowing I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I am resourceful and I rebound. Like, I'm going to come back from this. This is not going to define me. I am going to move on from this and I'm going to be stronger. That positive, looking for those positive emotions, because, with emotions, human beings really tend to, the negative emotions carry a deeper weight. Sadness, anger, disgust. Those are heavy, right? And they're very negative. And the positive ones, resilience and gratitude and contentment, they're lighter, they're quieter. And so if we make a habit, kind of like the Holy Spirit, you know how he doesn't yell? Mm-hmm. He whispers. Maybe if we make a habit of noticing those positive emotions, we can validate and leave the negative ones standing at the door where they belong.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing for me in the situation right now is trying to negate the emotions and figure out a solution without feeling the emotions.
Right.
So the emotions all came out yesterday when I finally talked about it for the first time out loud to anybody. And today, our follow-up conversation. But I think I'm also experiencing something that in this situation is difficult for me. And in other situations is not difficult for me. Emotions here in this situation are difficult because there needs to be a solution in my mind. And I am already trying to think about the solution of how to fix the problem. Whereas other situations that come up of, someone being mean to you unnecessarily at the gas station, for example, or, your boss and issues at work or something. I think those are easier for me to walk through and regulate and accept my emotions, because fixing the problem is not at the forefront of my mind. Whereas this situation comes in and the impact of the result is going to be either very devastating to me financially or not. But when it's not a situation like that, I think it is easier for me to identify the emotions.
Right.
And I think we definitely have to talk about how important it is to not jump to solution
Right.
before identifying exactly what's happening.
Because there are impossible problems, aren't there? There are issues that will come into our lives for which there is no solution other than
Yes.
we have to find a way to survive. We have to find a way to healthily trudge through it. This sounds to me like we've got a part two in our midst here.
Yeah. And I think part 2 will be super important, because actually walking through the how do you feel, asking me in this situation, that's hard for me. If someone's asking me that in the middle of this, I'm like, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not angry. I am angry. I'm mad. I'm sad. I'm heartbroken. I'm disappointed. I'm scared. I'm fearful. Okay, let's walk through one by one and unpack these things. Why are you fearful? Why are you mad? And not being able to answer those questions, that's what will bring you back to halt. You can halt and assess your emotions. The problem is the world today halts before they even get to assess the emotions, because halt means, okay, why are you so mad? Or how do you feel? And the answer is, I'm pissed off. Okay, why? Well, because, but you don't have to be mad. Your feelings are valid. Okay? Don't get mad at me. Why are you mad? I'm mad because this made me feel invaluable because of blah, 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 blah. You have to figure that out. You have to work down it. And I think it'll be helpful for people to understand how to actually identify it, because you get in this turmoil and then everyone else, and maybe some people of quality, but in general, the world with opinions, and opinions are like assholes and everyone has one. They're going to tell you, well, you just do this and this and this, but they don't even think to ask or validate how you're feeling. And I do the same thing with people. I try to fix them because I'm an outside perspective. I can easily look at that and say, this is what you need to do. But it's harder to sit in the dark with them and say, we'll worry about that tomorrow or next week or next month or next year. Because how do you feel right now? And why do you feel that way? You have to identify what you feel. If you feel sad, why do you feel sad? What is causing you to feel sad? Why does that make you feel sad, though? And you have to be honest enough about it to get all the way down the spiral to the root cause of the thing. Because if it's untrue, if you're feeling a way that you know you don't want to feel, or you shouldn't feel, or don't have any right to feel, so to say, in your mind, right? Then you just try to blame shift, dismiss it. It's not important. I'm not important. I shouldn't feel this way. No.
No.
Baby girl.
Mm-hmm.
Honey buns. You can feel any freaking way you feel. And that's valid because you're human.
Right.
And the reason you feel that, maybe some stupid reason in your mind that you don't want to say out loud, but you need to say why you feel the way you feel to then be able to create a solution to it. And that's where people halt, because you go through this phase in healing of you never feel like you can say the way you feel because it's not important and you're just trying to hold yourself down and imposter syndrome and whatever, right? And then you're like, my feelings are valid. And then you put a wall up because you're like, my feelings matter. And you're trying to tell everybody, like, I never cared about my feelings and now I do. And you need to understand, right? And so you're in this like bristly stage.
Right.
And then you get to the point where you're like, oh, okay, now I have to process through all of those feelings.
Yeah.
But if you halt at feeling them and you don't identify what you're even feeling, you cannot figure out why you're feeling it. Therefore, you cannot fix it. So I think emotional regulation and identifying emotions and all of that is probably one of the biggest parts of healing for me, and going through coaching and therapy and mentorship and trauma coaching, all of this stuff. Like, it has helped me identify the process. So we've talked about all the feels and what that encapsulates. And the next episode will be on what that looks like to actually process and walk down that.
And when you don't have that friend, the great trench friend that is asking you those imperative, wonderful, pertinent questions, you have to learn to then advocate for your own self, and you have to be your trench friend. You have to be your own friend. And we'll walk through what that looks like to take yourself by the hand.
It's like the Emperor's
self,
New Groove.
come on,
You know,
right?
the angel and devil. And
yes.
Like, I don't know if I would do that.
Yes.
I don't know if I would do that. And, well, but maybe make us look real cool. And no, maybe it's going to screw up your life. Maybe not do that. Like, you literally have to become the flip side of devil's advocate to question why you do what you do. But you have to actually be willing to say what you feel. And saying what you feel is really hard when you're insecure about yourself. Right. Because you don't want to say you're mad, because you want to say, no, it's no big deal. I know I shouldn't be upset. Right?
But you got to be your trench friend. You got to advocate.
You have to say, you have to get to the point where you can say, I'm freaking pissed off. And I don't even know why I'm so mad, but I am so mad about this because I did this and then this happened and blah, 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 blah. If you cannot articulate that, you cannot get help, because we only know what we know. And so walking the process, stay tuned, guys. What's up next? See ya.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Level Up Podcast. And the squad wants you to know that we're here to help. Feel free to email us at leveluppodcastsquad@gmail.com. If you have any questions or comments or feedback, we would love to hear from you. God bless, and we'll see you next time here on Level Up.